Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're looking at something pretty momentous in the financial world. Warren Buffett has announced he'll be stepping down as CEO of Berkshire Hathaway.
Yeah, for the years out.
Yeah,
And Greg Abel is set to take the reins.
that's the one.
And, well, this really is a major turning point, isn't it? I mean, you think about it, Buffett built Berkshire up from basically a failed textile mill
Right,
into this behemoth worth over $1 trillion.
right.
So him stepping aside as CEO sends ripples. We really need to understand what's going on.
Absolutely. And to help us sort of figure this out, we're diving into a FinShots article. It came out May 9th, 2025, and it's called, Is Warren Buffett Really Retiring?
Yeah.
So our mission here is really to, get past the headlines, understand the why behind this move, what it means for Berkshire, and maybe even what it signals about investing more broadly.
Okay, so the core news.
Yeah.
End of 2025, Buffett steps down as CEO, Greg Abel steps up.
Correct. Greg Abel, he's currently CEO at Berkshire Hathaway Energy, and he basically runs all the non-insurance parts of the business already.
So while people kind of expected this might happen eventually, the actual announcement, it lands with some weight. It signals a real concrete change.
And it's important to stress, like the FinShots article does, Buffett isn't just vanishing.
No, not at all.
He's staying on as chairman. And he still owns, what, 14% of the company?
Yeah, very significant stake. So the day-to-day leadership changes, but his influence, that's likely still going to be there.
Right. Oh, okay, so let's get into it. Why now? What are the factors possibly playing into this decision?
Well, the article lays out a few interesting angles. One, perhaps more personal one, is Charlie Munger passing away last year.
Ah, yes.
Their partnership was legendary, wasn't it? Decades long. Munger was often called his, intellectual partner in crime. Indispensable.
You really can't overestimate that loss, can you? The FinShots piece kind of hints that, the vibe in the office, it just wouldn't be the same for Buffett without Munger there. It's a reminder that even at that level of finance, these personal connections matter a lot.
Indeed. And then moving beyond the personal, the article points to where Berkshire is right now. Financially, they're doing incredibly well.
How well?
Market cap over $1.1 trillion. Stock price at an all-time high.
Wow.
And they're sitting on this mountain of cash, over $330 billion, and it's still growing.
It really does feel like, as FinShots puts it, a potential mic drop moment, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Stepping away when the company's arguably at its absolute peak, it's got a certain appeal. And Buffett, he's always had this incredible sense of timing.
Precisely. Making the change now, while he's still very much on the ball and the company is strong, it allows for a much cleaner handover, a controlled transition.
Makes sense.
But the article digs a bit deeper, too. It suggests the whole investment world, the landscape itself, might be changing in ways that influence this.
Ah, okay. This is where FinShots gets really interesting, I think. It brings up climate change.
Right, which is complicated for Berkshire.
Yeah, because you see them sometimes voting down climate resolutions from shareholders.
Right.
But then their energy division, BHE, has poured billions into renewables.
But they still rely quite a bit on coal, right? Something like 22% of their power gen, which is above the U.S. average.
So there's tension there.
Definitely. And the article hints that maybe, just maybe, the external pressure is mounting. Activists, regulators, they're watching more closely. So one thought is maybe Buffett doesn't want to be the main guy dealing with that increasing scrutiny. Or perhaps more strategically, he sees Greg Abel.
The successor.
Exactly. Abel's got deep experience in energy in dealing with regulated industries. Maybe Buffett thinks Abel is just better positioned to navigate Berkshire through all that complexity going forward.
That's a really insightful point. Abel's background seems tailor-made for guiding the energy side through these choppy waters. Regulatory changes, environmental pressures.
It could be a key factor.
Yeah.
Then FinShots mentions the Buffett indicator.
Ah, yes, the market cap to GDP ratio. He watches that one.
He does, and the article notes it's currently over 180%.
Which is high.
Very high. For a value investor like Buffett, that screams market frothiness. It means stock prices generally are pretty elevated compared to the economy's actual output.
So basically, it's hard to find good deals. The kind of great businesses at fair prices he loves.
That seems to be the implication. This kind of environment just might not be his preferred hunting ground anymore.
And the article connects that to the types of companies leading the market now.
Yeah, it points out that the darlings aren't necessarily those slow, predictable cash cows Buffett historically favored.
It's more tech, hype-driven valuations.
Right. Tech dominance, high valuations, even in private equity. Plus, government policy and regulation seem to have a much bigger, more immediate impact on markets these days. Buffett's talked about some of this stuff, even while Berkshire kept doing well. But the article suggests maybe he sees the game changing, and perhaps it's less suited to his classic approach.
So maybe this timing also reflects a shift in the fundamental nature of investing itself.
It's definitely a possibility raised by the piece,
Yeah.
that this is a strategic moment to pass the baton.
And speaking of the baton pass, the succession plan, it seems incredibly deliberate.
Yeah, absolutely.
Abel running everything except insurance for years now. That looks like clear preparation.
Totally. It suggests this was planned well in advance.
Yeah.
Not some messy fight for the throne,
Right, a controlled burn.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The focus seems to be on stability, continuity, and Buffett's public confidence in Abel is obviously crucial for that.
And when you look back at Buffett's run, the numbers are just staggering. FinShots mentions over 5.5 million % return since 1964.
It's almost unbelievable. 140 times what the S&P 500 did.
And that's while holding huge amounts of cash sometimes. It's just,
Yeah.
unparalleled.
A truly historic achievement, which, of course, sets up the big questions for Abel.
Like what to do with all that cash.
That's the $330 billion question, isn't it?
Yeah.
Deploy it. Keep holding it patiently, like Buffett often did, or maybe steer Berkshire in a slightly new direction. Adapt to what the article calls a faster world.
And for investors, for you listening, the bet changes a bit, doesn't it?
How so?
Well, it's less about betting purely on one legendary individual, on Buffett himself, and more about betting on the system, the culture, the machine he built.
That's a great way to put it. And the market reacted, didn't it? Stock dipped about 5% initially.
Yeah, what do you make of that dip? Just nervousness?
Probably a bit of that, yeah. Recognizing that Buffett's personal influence, that sort of Buffett premium, is unique. Investors are now recalibrating, thinking about Berkshire under new day-to-day leadership. There's always a little uncertainty there, wondering if the system alone can keep delivering quite like he did.
The FinShots article offers this really nice thought near the end. It suggests maybe Buffett's greatest skill wasn't just picking stocks,
What then?
but building this lasting, resilient organization, this structure that can endure.
I like that.
So maybe he isn't really running out of steam. Maybe this is just a very smart, strategic play for Berkshire's long-term future.
Yeah, like ensuring the tree he planted decades ago continues to provide shade, even when he steps back a bit. He's still there as chairman, remember. A co-pilot, as the article sort of implies.
He'll still be providing that wisdom, that guidance.
Undoubtedly. His influence isn't just going to evaporate overnight.
Okay, so let's try and wrap this up. Pulling from the FinShots deep dive, Warren Buffett is stepping down as CEO, Greg Abel takes over, but Buffett stays as chairman.
Right.
The reasons could be personal, like Munger's passing, could be strategic, like Berkshire being at a peak, or it could be about the changing investment world, climate pressures, high market valuations, making value hunting harder.
And this handover marks a really new phase for Berkshire. It raises big questions about, what they do with the cash, how they adapt, and how investors feel about the company without Buffett in that CEO chair day to day.
Exactly. Which leads us to a final thought for you to consider.
Okay.
Is this move by Buffett mostly personal timing, stepping back at a good moment? Or is it maybe a bigger signal about deeper shifts happening in finance and investing?
What does this change tell us, if anything, about the future of value investing itself in this, rapidly changing world we're in?
That is definitely something to chew on. A lot to think about there.